Over the past 2 years, I've used over 30 outbound tools to help get results like this and this for our clients using cold email. And in this video, I'm going to break down the best tools that you can use heading into 2025 so that you can grow your company. And make sure you stick around till the end of the video because I have some hidden gems in here that you've probably never even heard of that you can use to help book even more meetings using cold email. Let's get right into it. All right, cool. So here are the best outbound tools heading into 2025 that you need to be using to grow your company. I've separated this list here based off of sending tools, data providers, and data enrichers. I did not include infrastructure in here because infrastructure it it is not always the best to include in here because a few months it might be Google, which is like it is right now, and then for the next few months it might be Outlook. So I suggest you have both, you use both, and you even use the private SMTP. But for this main video here, I'm just gonna go over sending tools, data providers, and data enrichers. So let's get right into what I have for sending tool, right? So sending tool, everybody uses instantly or everybody uses smartly. So for us or for you, what I recommend and what we use at our agency is smartly.ai. In my opinion, this is the best sending tool that you can use because it, it it has a lot of APIs that you can call. You can automate a lot of things. The support team and founder team is great, and they're always innovating and coming up with new things, right? And I believe I have it listed here, right? So, like I said, a lot of API calls, a lot of automations. You can automate reporting. You can do a lot of campaign. I guess if a campaign hits let's say 75% completion, it'll pause the campaign. If X amount of leads bounce, if your emails bounce, you can pause that campaign. There's a lot of different AI and or excuse me automations that you can use for Smart Lead, and it you can automate a lot of stuff, and you can have a lot of cool things in here. And then, like I said, the support team is great. They reply quick, they reply fast, and the founder is great as well. I'm in the Slack channel, and you can literally get access to the founder himself, and he will reply to your support messages because he cares that much about the product. And overall, it the team that they have is great. And then finally, they're always innovating. There's new features coming out every few weeks. So recently we had smart delivery, which is basically like if you can test out what emails are landing in spam. Is it because of your copy? Is it because you're blacklisted? Is it because your IP is blocked? Whatever it may be. And then we also had smart senders, which is like their own, I guess, sending IP. I haven't used that much, but a lot of different tools and different stuff that's always coming out. They're always innovating. They came out with the verifying tool a few months ago, and there's always new stuff coming out. They're always innovating. They're always on the top of their game, and they're very transparent to the community. They will, if you put in a request, they will listen to you and they will actually innovate and put that feature in, or at least like think about putting that feature in. So overall, Smart Lead is the best tool. This is what I recommend for everybody who gets into outbound. Now, once we have that for data providers, here's what we use, right? We use Dbounce and Apollo. So data provider is mostly Apollo and Dbounce to verify emails, and I'll get into why. So for Apollo, in my opinion, it it is the best bang for your buck tool. So what I mean is, I believe it's like $99 a month, and you get like 10,000 leads. That's pretty good, and it has a good enough amount of data. A lot of people dog on Apollo and say, "Oh, it's bad," or the data isn't the best, and that is true. But in my opinion, for the price point that you're paying, and for the different ways you can scrape it, like down here, I'll get into that later. It is pretty valid. It's pretty solid, and this is really the mostly the only data provider tool that we use. We start off building our lead list off of just Apollo, and then when we use other enrichers to find data that Apollo couldn't find. So in my opinion, Apollo is the best bang for your buck tool. Again, I recommend everybody start here, pull your data off of here, and then for the emails that Apollo can't find, use a data enriching tool, which I'll explain later on in the video, which I have a bunch of. And if you use a data enriching tool, you'll be able to essentially, like I said, enrich data that Apollo can't find. And like I said, it's decent data. It's not the best. Like you're not gonna get every single lead list verified. You're not gonna get Zoom info level data, but it is decent enough to where you can, like I said, start building off your lead list off of there and enrich with other tools. And then, like I said, it's easily scrapable. like you can you can scrape Apollo without even having an account. So you can use one of these two tools or one of these two websites here, and then it's the Boomerang or it's exportapollo.co. Basically, all you do is you don't even need an Apollo paid account. All you're going to be doing here is going to these websites. You're going to go to no, first you're going to go to Apollo, put the filters that you want, and then what you're going to be doing is copy pasting the actual link of the website, the URL, and then pasting that onto one of these two tools, and they will scrape it for you for $1.50 per 1K lead. So if you want 10K leads, for example, oh, how much is that? Like $15? Like that's not that much, honestly. So overall, it's very scrapable. $15 for 10K leads is pretty good. Now, out of those 10K leads, Apollo will only give you back like probably 5 or 6K. But then you can use the data enriching tools that you get to enrich the rest of the lead list, right? So, like I said, it is very, very good for the price point that you're paying. And once you pair it with the enriching tools that I'm going to go over in the later half of this video, you will find that the data is very solid. It's not the best, but it's very, very solid. And this is what I recommend going 2025. So for the verifying tool, you can use Million Verifier, you can use Dbounce, you can use all these other extra tools out there. But we personally use Dbounce. It's very good in value for pricing. So if you look at Dbounce pricing, and if you look at Million Verifier pricing, Dbounce is actually cheaper when you're buying at bulk, probably like $10-20 cheaper, and it's it's very it just gets the job done. But you have to realize with verifying tools that there's no there is not much differentiator. Rather, there's nothing much that's different rather than just pricing. So Million Verifier and Dbounce, they both do the same thing. They're both solid, but I'm using Dbounce because Dbounce is cheaper. The only gripe I have with Dbounce is that you can't verify more than 2 files at once. On Million Verifier you can, but on a large enough scale, like across hundreds and hundreds of thousands of emails that we're verifying every single month, it is cheaper. So that's why we use it. So it's good value for pricing, and like I said, there's no really like differentiator in here, and the only thing is just pricing, really. So in my opinion, Dbounce is the tool that you should be using. Now, to get to the meat and potatoes of this, we're going to be talking about enriching tools, right? So once you've pulled your lead list off of Apollo will not give you everything. You'll probably only get back like 50% of the lead list. So if you scrape like 10K emails off of Apollo or using one of those websites I mentioned, you'll probably only get back 50%, right? It's not that much. But what you can do is enrich the emails that you don't have, because Apollo will still give you their LinkedIn profile, their website, their job title, and using those features, what you can do is enrich the data and find the email itself. So in a workflow itself, it's very, very good. So we'll get into what enriching tools I use, and we'll first start off with Clay. So by now, if you've been in Outbound, everybody's heard of Clay. Clay is essentially you can integrate all these different tools into one and use their APIs on Clay to build out some special stuff. So a lot of people use Clay for personalization, company research, which is good. But in this case, and we do that as well, but in this case, I'm going to be talking about more the data provider side of things. So like I said, you can use integrations such as Lead Magic, Find Email, and others to enrich data and personalize emails. So you can use these other tools that you have, export your lead list from Apollo into Clay, and then for the emails that you don't find, you can use these tools that I have laid out here to find their emails. Because like I said, you still have their LinkedIn profile, you still have the website, you still have their name, their company name, all that good stuff. So really, you could use the other data provider tools and find their email address that Apollo couldn't find. And with Clay, it's very easy because you don't have to go from one tool to other. No, it's just in one board, one spreadsheet, and you can just enrich it across the board. And then again, you can use GPT to personalize and do market research. Fantastic way to do it. And you can use Clay credits for extra integrations such as Ocean.io. Clay integrates with so many different softwares and tools like RB2B or in this case Ocean.io. the way that Clay credits work is on for most of you, you're going to be using the GPT API key, and that is a lot cheaper, obviously. But what will end up happening is you will have a lot of leftover clay credit left that you might not use. So what you can do instead is use one of the other integrations or tools um, in Clay, because you have these credits just lying around, and you basically just want to use it. So you can use the extra credits that you have to use all these other extra all these extra credits on a tool like Ocean, or our B2B or whatever it may be. But overall, Clay is very, very good because you could just put everything into one and use the APIs of all of Lead Magic, of Find Email, of all these other tools out there, and it essentially you don't have to switch from one tool to another tool to another tool to another tool. It's just in one place at one time, so it's very, very good. So you can use Clay to enrich, and then the next one I want to talk about, and this tool is fantastic. It's called Full Enrich, right? And the reason why I love this tool is it's 9 data enrichers into one. So imagine, you have all these different subscriptions, right? You have Find Email for finding emails, obviously. You have Lead Magic for finding emails. You have Snob.io for finding emails. You have Prospio for finding emails. You have like all these subscriptions, and you're paying like $200 a month. Now imagine all of them get integrated into one tool, and you just pay like $99 a month. That's a lot better and a lot cheaper than just having all these different tools. And this is what Full Enrich does. It has 9 data enrichers into one. Now the 9 that it has it's decent, but it's not. It's if Lead Magic, Prospio, and Find Email are S tier, the data enrichers that Full Enrich has is about A tier, right? That's the best way I can describe it. It's not like top of the top, but it is very, very good value for the pricing that you get, because it'll literally go through 9 enrichers. It'll use Hunter, it'll use Snov, I believe it uses Datagma, all these other like data enrichers that it has, and just it's all integrated into one tool. So this is great value, great pricing, and like I said, it's not like S tier. Like if I had like a tier list of data enrichers, Lead Magic, Find Email, and Prospero would be S, but the data enrichers that Full Enrich uses is like A, right? So it's not the top of the top, but it's still very, 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 very good, and I recommend it because it's a great value for the pricing. Next, when I get into Lead Magic, this is again a S tier data enricher, because you can use this as an extra enricher in case Full Enrich doesn't find anything, and sometimes Full Enrich won't find anything, but Lead Magic will, because Lead Magic, like I said, it's S tier, and you can use it for more than just enrichment. It's good for, you can use it to validate emails. So on top of enriching tools, you can use it to validate emails. You can find phone numbers. You can find job listings. There's a lot of different tools out here, and I recommend this tool as well because the founder of this tool, Jesse, he's been in the cold email space for a long, long time, and he has a very, very good background, and he really understands what it's like being in this space, and how this space moves essentially, right? So I really recommend this tool because this is an SS tier or S tier data enricher that I use all the time. Then in terms of scraping LinkedIn, right? This tool I just discovered this like about a month ago, but this is fantastic if you want to scrape competitors. So what do I mean by that? Is essentially, let's say you're a software company, right? Let's say you're a software company that sells billing to insurance companies, for example, right? There's another tool, and then there's another tool on the market that a lot of insurance companies use, right? So it's your competitor. What you can do is essentially put in the LinkedIn profile of the other software company, like the company page, and this tool will basically allow you to scrape all of the people following that company page. And I can't stress this enough how good of the campaigns we've had running this, because you can also separate it by job title. So for example, if you are a billing company that sells to insurance companies, you most likely want to work with like CFOs, maybe the owner, right? What you can do with this tool is you can put in the URL of your competitor, and you could tell it, be like, hey, scrape me only CFOs and COOs and CEOs of the people following this page. And what it'll do is literally scrape you all the CFOs, all the CEOs of that page. So you can get extremely good and relevant data, because more than likely, if they're following that page, they have used that tool in the past before, or currently are using that tool, or just like the idea of it, right? So these buyers, or these people who are following this page, they're already inclined to buy a tool like yours. So this is fantastic for scraping competitors. You can even use you can even use this even if you're, I guess, trying to scrape. Well, the main thing is just scraping competitors, but you can even use this if you know your software integrates well with some other type of solution. So, for example, if you know that, and I wouldn't recommend doing this for Shop. Well, you can try for Shopify, but let's say if you're a tool that integrates really well with Shopify and you work with CMOs of Shopify store owners, what you can do is you can go to this tool. You can be like, hey, scrape Shopify's LinkedIn page. It's probably like 100,000 followers or however much it may be. It's a big list, but scrape Shopify followers and make sure it's the CMOs of companies that are in, let's say, the manufacturing industry or e-commerce industry. And what you can do is you can reach out to those people, be like, hey, our tool integrates well with Shopify because blah 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 blah, right? It's you can use it for tools that integrates well with your own tool or competitors. We mostly use it for competitors, but even integration is very good. So Scrape LI, recommended a lot. I know the founder, pretty cool guy. And then finally, the last tool that I really have here is Outscraper. This is a tool that we use almost for most of our clients when we're scraping small businesses, right? You can find anybody. We've run campaigns for plumbers, roofers, dentists, auto details, dog breeders, catering, fertility clinics, dermatology. What else do I have here? I'll just leave it at that. But there's so many different use cases that you can use for this for when you're scraping local small businesses. Because what it will do is it'll essentially go to Google Maps and it'll scrape companies who are in a certain search criteria, right? So, for example, if I were to go to Google Maps right now, look up plumbers, right? What this will do is it'll literally scrape all, or it'll give me all the companies in my area and try to direct me to one. So what Outscraper will do is it'll go through all these companies and just scrape their email and their phone number. So this is a fantastic tool because you're just scraping Google searches, and it'll allow you to really scrape anybody. Because like I said, we've run for any industry, for any local small business, we've run some of the craziest, I guess, weird niches and industries using the Outscraper itself, like dermatology, fertility clinics, dog breeders, auto detail, roofers, landscapers, catering, like anything and everything you could think of, we've probably ran. So you can find any type of weird local small businesses. Remodeling is one that we're planning on running in 2025. So you can find almost anything and everything you can think of on this tool because it really has it all. But yeah, that is all the tools that I have here. And honestly, I should have included Outscraper on data providers, but you can use it to enrich as well. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, those are the best tools for Outbound in 2025 that you need to be using to scale your company. If you find this video valuable, please press like and subscribe. And if you are any type of B2B business that is making over $30,000 a month and you want your next 3 calls for free booked, that's currently the offer we're running with right now. Press the link below and you can book a time with us and we can see if we're even a good fit to help you guys out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.